Before asking the individual questions, I thought I'd say some general instruction that hopefully will be helpful. The beginning of a retreat. What happens with meditators when we come to retreats, oftentimes, is that sense of focus gets very narrow, and really trying to become peaceful in that half an hour or 45-minute or 1 hour session. And then the habit of the mind is to be commenting and critiquing and doubting, and this is normal, but what I wanted to suggest is it's probably better at the end of the day to review, were there periods in the day that the mind was peaceful? Because it's not so much about the method as it is about increasing the amount of meditation sessions over a period of days. It's the methods help in supporting developing more mindfulness and a more consistent mindfulness. So with regards to what hindrances are present, that's not necessarily related specifically to that method, to that sit. All sorts of things are ripening in the mind because of what happened last month, last week, yesterday. The kind of various karma vipakas that ripen in our lives. So when we come to sit, a lot of the stuff that we're experiencing doesn't have much to do with where we are right now and what's happening right in that moment. It takes a while for your mind to arrive and settle down. And so there isn't much point in trying to work everything out in the first couple of sessions or micromanage the methods. You just have to be surrendering to the process happily and with faith, and then put in the effort. And then what normally happens after a couple of days, and even on the first day, a couple of people said they're already experiencing peacefulness. But in general, second or third day, we'll start to have some peaceful sessions. And so it's always good to just review what are the 5 hindrances. These are the qualities that kind of invade the mind and keep it from being peaceful. Lord Buddha calls them bandits, robbers, that steal peacefulness. So we have sensual craving, the first one, all of the things that we crave for. Many of you come from Singapore, Malaysia. You will have your favorite noodles, you will have your favorite coffee shop, you will have your favorite bed, you'll have all of the stuff that we like. There might be some hankering, oh, I wish I could have such and such now. That's normal. So in the meditation, it's not really possible that we come to a retreat and the desire just isn't there. The habits of the mind, we bring our habits with us. But the point is, when we're meditating, we just know, oh, that's the first hindrance. We try not to feed it. Try to practice contentment. We have what is given, we have what is available. The second hindrance is the irritation and the aversion. So all of the things that we're experiencing that we don't want. And sometimes irritation and aversion can be arising in the mind, not even because there's things outside annoying us, but just because it's our habit to be joyful, happy, cheerful sometimes, and grumpy and annoyed other times. And so we just know that that's craving energy going in the aversion direction. Irritation, annoyance, grudge, hatred, all of those things. That's all under the category of the second hindrance. When we come to meditate, try to give the attention and interest to the breath. When we're experiencing one of the hindrances, just, okay, first hindrance. Or you can note it, craving, second hindrance, aversion, irritation. Just that being able to label it, get a bit of space from it, helps us not to be taken away completely by it, be swayed by it as much. Then we have the sloth and torpor. So that manifests as dullness, fuzziness, in the more extreme state, falling asleep. So completely falling asleep. I myself don't experience much nodding, I don't experience much sleepiness or drowsiness, but sometimes I completely fall asleep for a second, and then the noise that my body makes when I fall asleep wakes me up, thank goodness. So I'll just be sitting and I'll be going, and that noise wakes me up. Oh, okay, I fell asleep. But some people have really a lot of that, and there's various things we can do with it. You can just open your eyes, look in front of you, let some light in, breathe in deeply for a few breaths. And it's good to know that you're in good company. The thing about these 5 hindrances is that everybody, all spiritual practitioners experience them. And Thanajananand, when he gave his talk recently, referred to them as your old friends. It doesn't mean they should be trusted, but it just means you're very familiar with them. And so Mahamoggallana, when he was striving for his arahantship, literally days before he was enlightened and had equal psychic powers to the Buddha, he was struggling with heavy sloth and torpor and sleepiness. So after cultivating virtue for 2 incalculable periods plus 100,000 eons, there Mahamoggallana is practicing and still struggling with the same stuff. So, don't judge it too harshly. We have to know it for what it is. When the mind is not in the absorbed state, it will normally be experiencing some of the hindrances, one, sometimes several, alternating, bit of restlessness, bit of desire, bit of sloth, bit of aversion. So we just know them. Hindrance is a hindrance, sloth and torpor, 3rd hindrance. The 4th one is the restlessness, anxiety, worry, or that kind of discursive thinking, not particularly associated with desire. It's just very normal for modern people. Our lives are busy, the world is fraught, we hear constant good news, bad news. So there's a lot of stuff in the mind. And so it's different when we meditate, it's different to, normally, oftentimes we have to make our thoughts make sense, try to think in chains of thoughts, coherent, cohesive, lucid thoughts, so that we can work, fulfill our functions, our goals, etc. So we've trained ourselves to think. So when the thinking comes back when we're trying to meditate, there's no point being irritated or averse. We're just, okay, this is what I've trained my mind to do. And if it doesn't have a particular task, it will be running all over the place. And then we just keep giving the interest to the feeling of the breath. For people who think a lot, or in their job or in their life they have to think a lot, if they come to the meditation practice and there's a lot of mental activity, walking meditation can be good. Do some walking beforehand. Generally try to keep the retreat schedule, because that's a good opportunity. You have the group support to do that. But there's various things you can do to pacify, like just feeling the bottom of your feet. You do a session of walking meditation. It tends to make the mind a bit more grounded, less scattered. Similarly with the chanting, in the forest monasteries we normally do a session of chanting before the morning or evening practice periods, and that helps to gather the thoughts and somewhat direct them in wholesome directions. So we're thinking of the Buddha, the Dhamma and the Sangha. Then we meditate. It calms down the thinking mind. So try not to be contentious with it. Try to just understand this is the nature of the mind. And then we try not to grasp it, we try not to follow on. We just know a thought is a thought. That's practicing right mindfulness, seeing aramana, mind states as mind states, sanya aramana, perceptions, thoughts, mind states. Just see them as that and give the interest to knowing the feelings of the breath. And then normally they calm down by themselves. The last one is the doubt. So can manifest in many ways. Doubt that the Buddha was enlightened, not so common for people who come to Buddhist monasteries to practice retreats. Normally the faith in the Lord Buddha is well established, deep, strong, but then it can manifest in other ways. You doubt your ability, you doubt that this is the right method, you doubt the teaching, you doubt that the structure is right. There's all sorts of things you can doubt. And then just know doubt is doubt. And you can make it a practice to doubt the doubt. So the thing about doubt is particularly dangerous, because if you believe it, if you grasp your doubt and you believe it, it takes away your confidence, it takes away your resolution. Like as Lord Buddha called them, bandits, robbers. You're believing a particular doubt, then you don't, this word faith, sometimes translated as confidence, confidence in the Buddha, conviction in his teachings and the methods. You get doubts, then it's gone. So we try not to allow the mind to fall into the doubts, see a doubt as a doubt, sometimes we have to do alternate contemplations to balance the mind or lift up the faith. What are the reasons to have faith in the Buddha? What are the reasons to have faith in these methods? We know that plenty of enlightened masters practiced them, so that's one good reason. And the other thing to do, of course, is notice these things arise and cease. So whatever hindrances are there, none of them stay forever. They all have a little birth, a little life, and a little death. So we notice, okay, the sensual craving's gone now. Now there's irritation. Notice the breath, give the interest of the breath, still a little bit of irritation, that changes. Okay, now I'm restless and worried. Okay, notice that. Notice when it changes, notice when it ceases. And noticing the cessation of these things helps us over a period of time to grasp at them less. Even when we're absorbed in them, there's a part of the mind that knows it will cease. This is very helpful. So just a bit of basic instruction and encouragement to just give yourself to the schedule, keep making the efforts, and there will be, in any one day, several peaceful periods, I would think. And just kind of give yourself to the process, be interested,